What do you see when you hear the name Cleopatra? A seductress, a great beauty, a woman who died for love? What if I told you that image is almost entirely wrong? That the real Cleopatra was one of history's most brilliant leaders, a master politician, and a linguistic genius, and that her story was rewritten by the men who defeated her. Today, we're cutting through 2,000 years of propaganda to meet the real woman behind the myth. This is Cleopatra VII Philopator, the last active pharaoh of ancient Egypt. She didn't just witness the end of her dynasty, she fought with everything she had to save her kingdom from being swallowed whole by the rising Roman Empire. Her story isn't just a tragedy, it's a thriller. First, let's clear up a big misconception. Cleopatra wasn't Egyptian, she was Greek. Her family, the Ptolemies, had ruled Egypt for nearly 300 years after one of Alexander the Great's generals took the throne. And this was not a happy family. They lived in a cutthroat world of palace intrigue, where marrying your own brother or sister was just a way to keep power in the family. But Cleopatra was different. While her predecessors never bothered to learn the language of the people they ruled, she did. She was fluent in at least 9 languages and was a renowned scholar and negotiator. She was sharp, strategic, and ready to play the Game of Thrones. When her father died, young Cleopatra was forced to co-rule with her younger brother, Ptolemy XIII. He and his advisors quickly pushed her out. She was in exile. For most people, that would be the end of the story. For Cleopatra, it was the opening move. Knowing the Roman general Julius Caesar was in Alexandria, she devised a plan so daring it's become legend. She had herself smuggled into the royal palace, rolled up inside a carpet or a linen sack. When she was unrolled at Caesar's feet, it wasn't just a beautiful woman who emerged. It was a brilliant strategist, making her pitch directly to the most powerful man in the world. This wasn't a seduction. It was a masterclass in networking. The gamble worked. With Caesar's help, she won back her throne. She later followed him to Rome, and they had a son, Caesarion. But after Caesar's assassination, she was once again in danger and had to flee back to Egypt. Enter Mark Antony. Needing her vast wealth and resources, he summoned her, and she knew how to make an entrance. She arrived on a golden barge with purple sails, dressed as the goddess Venus. She wasn't just appealing to the man, she was appealing to his ambition. They formed a powerful alliance, part romantic, entirely political, to counter their common enemy, Caesar's heir, the cunning Octavian. So let's talk about the seductress myth. The ancient historian Plutarch tells us her beauty was, and I quote, not altogether incomparable. But he goes on to say that her conversation was utterly captivating, her voice enchanting, and her intelligence irresistible. She was a polymath, a charismatic leader, and a formidable negotiator. The image of her as just a beautiful object is a Roman invention, a propaganda campaign by Octavian to discredit her and Mark Antony as decadent and dangerous. They turned a geopolitical threat into a scandalous story, and we've been believing it ever since. The final showdown came at the Sea Battle of Actium. Octavian's forces defeated them. Back in Alexandria, with Octavian's army at the gates, Antony fell on his sword. Now, Cleopatra was captured, alive, but she had one last move. Octavian planned to parade her through the streets of Rome in chains. For a pharaoh, a goddess on earth, this was the ultimate dishonor. So she chose her own fate. History says she died by the bite of an Egyptian cobra, a symbol of royal divinity. It was the final, powerful act of a queen. She controlled her narrative, even in death. With her, the 3,000-year-old era of the pharaohs came to a close. So why does Cleopatra still fascinate us? Because her true story is more compelling than any myth. She wasn't a pawn, she was a player. She wasn't just a lover of great men, she was a partner to them, fighting to preserve her nation's independence against an unstoppable empire. She was a woman of immense intelligence, courage, and political skill, whose legacy was written by her enemies. For 2,000 years, we've been told a lie. It's time we remember Cleopatra, not for how she looked, but for who she truly was, one of history's most powerful and capable rulers. What other historical figures have been completely misunderstood? Let me know your picks in the comments below. If you enjoyed this dive into the real history behind the legend, hit that like button, subscribe for more journeys into the past, and ring the bell so you don't miss what's next. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Mark.